quick unscripted patch rundown. So, Borderlands Granular is playing on the iPad at the top. playing a granular sample and a drone sample, 2 drone samples, that every now and then I'll pull one of the waveforms into the middle so that it gets played by one of the circles that kind of rotates around Borderlands and looks for the audio. And that's coming out of the iPad into the Cocoquantus on one of the channels. And there are 2 loops of that are recorded into the Coco on the left and right buffer. And the amplitude of those buffers is being controlled by that little wooden box on the left, which is the Palmelund BAAS, BAAS, which is available in 4U formats or in wooden format, like you can see here. I'm using the kind of maths style modulators out of the orange jacks there, and from the left and right. The top dials on the bass are attack and release, and so every so often I go and mess with that as well and make the attack and release of the triangle wave output really, really quick, and then slow it right down again. That's fun. In the middle, above the Cocoquantus and underneath the iPad, is the Elmyra 2 from Neutral Labs, which is disturbing as it always does. I've got the internal LFOs from Elmyra are patched into the choke and bite. The one that is patched into the bite goes in and out of the attenuator, just to kind of to drop the amplitude of that low frequency oscillator a little bit. And the LFOs are set to quite slow, though at some point in the performance I turn them up and have some fun with that too. The 4 notes, the one on the far left is tuned quite high, and the one on the far right is tuned very low. And so whenever I press the low one, depending on the point at which the LFO is at on the choke and bite, you get this really big kind of low rumbling noise, which is quite fun. That goes out of the Elmyra output into the mono input on the far left of the Cocoquantus. Now this is where the Coco actually comes into its own a little bit, because it can also be a bit of a mixer in that I've got a stereo signal from the iPad coming into one of the 2 TRS inputs at the bottom, and I've got a mono out from the Elmyra coming into the mono input on the far left. And given that I can control the volume out of the Elmyra and into the Coco is basically acting not only as a sampler but also as a mixer, which is fun. Output from the Cocoquantus into the Chase Bliss mood, which I turn on a couple of minutes into the performance, and that is in the modes. Hang on. Tape mode and slip mode, and it's on classic. I upgraded my mood from mood 1 to mood 2, but I end up using classic mode more often. But it's stereo, which the first mood wasn't, so that's my excuse for upgrading. And the dip switches on the back, I've got trails turned on, and then bounce, and then modify and length over on the right hand side as well, so that what you can hear on the micro sample gets shorter and longer intermittently, and as does the pitch of the micro sample as well. And then the slip delay is in reverse plus 12 semitones, and so you're getting a little bit of reverse octave delay there as well. So you can see from the mix knob in the middle top that it's not set to it's set to quite dry, and so there's only about 35-40% of that mood signal mixed in. Behind all of this gear and behind the plants, which is masking the mess behind, I've got Soma Cosmos adding some light granular, some light kind of looping, I should say. It's in classic firmware on the second setting of the first set. And when you see me nip behind every now and then, that's to turn up the feedback. I find with the Cosmos that sometimes when you turn up the mix, you lose the dry signal quite quickly, and so I tend to kind of keep the mix at a fixed state and turn up the feedback to kind of introduce more of the effect. After that, it's going into the Walrus Slower, which is in, I think, the Dream setting, which is the top one, set to quite a short decay, quite a short depth, and starts with quite dry, but towards the end of the performance I'll turn up the wet as well on that. And then there's Auto Boom, which is just giving a little bit of compression, a little bit of distortion, and a little bit of filtering, and that is the patch. Thank you for watching.